Hello, this video will cover the settings I use on my Connect exams. I will launch the exam from Canvas directly since I use modules. If you do not have your assignments deployed from Connect to Canvas, you will go directly to the Connect site to find the assignment. After accessing the exam in Connect, I can select Policy tab. Make sure your start date and due dates are correct. The start date should be after the date you are making the changes. I recommend that you make it available for a window longer than the allowed time to prevent the student from running out of time if she or he begins the test late. This will allow students some extra time to complete before the due date forces them to end the exam before the allotted minutes have expired. I will click on the drop-down box and select the Edit Assignment, or select the View Edit Policies. Scroll down and click on the Continue button. The instructor may decide to give the exam at a set time for all students and require each student to join a Zoom conference where the instructor will use breakout sessions to monitor the recording of each student taking the exam. The instructor can share the password with each student in the breakout session after the students show his or her photo ID. This may be a long drawn-out process if this is a large class. Students will need to take their exam on a computer with a functioning webcam. See video comments below for other how-to video links. Be sure to select the Submit as is on due date. I do not recommend allowing students to submit tests late since it will give them more time than the time allotted, and it will require the instructor to manually update the grade in the gradebook. To set the password and time limit, you must now select Expand Advanced Settings. Make sure the Exam tab is selected first. Then select the Edit link next to Basic. For the online classes, I usually use a 48-hour window for students to take the interim exams. This will allow students to take the exams at their own convenience. Unfortunately, this may also allow an increased opportunity for students to assist other students in taking their exams at a subsequent time. Each student will be allotted a certain number of minutes to complete the exam, and the student must finish their exam in one sitting once the password is entered and they begin taking the exam. Enter the password that students will need to access the exam. This may be given to students in a number of ways. Then select Attempts. Students should only be given one attempt to take exams, and study attempts should not be allowed. Students and time limits may be adjusted for individual students by individual assignment if an accommodation is needed. Students may also get a universal time extension under the class roster from the main screen. This will give a percentage of time extension for all time assignments within Connect. Select Resources next. I only use the point value and deselect everything else. Finally, I select feedback and I click on the total scores before due date and all other feedback after due date. Click on the hold feedback until several days after the due date. I will then make sure the eyeball icon is selected immediately after the due date so I can control when the students may view feedback of their test. Once I'm satisfied with all my settings, I select Apply these settings to this exam and then scroll down and click on the Review and Assign button. Then scroll down again and click on Assign. I am done. See the eyeball that makes it visible to the students? Before I conclude this video, instructors should also consider taking the following actions. The reasoning behind the last two suggestions is that students are able to search for solutions to questions by copying information on Google or proprietary sites such as Chegg or Course Hero to get assistance on exam. Please see the other video for how to request your copyrighted materials to be removed from these sites. This is another reason to support a time test so that students do not have time to use additional resources. Although these parameters don't prevent possible improprieties of taking exams, it will make it more difficult to breach the controls. And if your institution offers proctoring software to monitor and review the individual taking the exam, this would also help in mitigating the risk of cheating. Hopefully, the majority of the students will appreciate your due diligence in promoting an academic, honest environment. Any other suggestions that you have found helpful, please share in the comments below. And remember, today is a great day to teach accounting.